Hi everyone, welcome to week 9. This week we will be, our topic is functional vision assessment. What to do this week, we have the readings, we have quite a lot of readings. We have chapter 10, functional vision assessment of children with low vision, including those with multiple disabilities, from Foundations of Low Vision text. And we do have the LOEC functional vision, chapter 4, 5, and 6. The PDFs are attached. But I would highly recommend you not to skim through the readings this week because it's very, very critical to understand how we do the functional vision assessment. It's extremely important for your career. So take a lot of effort and then take notes, and you will refer to this resource. I mean, trust me, every year while you're doing the functional vision assessment with your students. So what the other thing that we're going to do that you need to do is the major assignment 1. I will talk about the assignments at the end of this presentation, and then you will post to discussion. So why do we conduct a functional vision assessment? So TVIs conduct a functional vision assessment in order to understand how students use their vision in their everyday life. We are being trained to do this. Nobody else is being trained to do a functional vision assessment. Eye doctors do not do a functional vision assessment because they do not, and even if they give educational recommendations, they are not supposed to be doing that. You will give educational recommendations. So doing a functional vision assessment is very critical for your job. And so the components of the functional vision assessment, I took these from page 343 from Foundations of Low Vision text. So I would divide the components into 3 major components. The first is gathering background information. So you do this through interviewing parents, teachers, or students, and then you review prior records like medical records. All this go under this component, which is gathering background information. And then the second is observing students. So you observe students in different environments at different times of the day, doing different variety of activities. So this is extremely critical as well. So the observation, that's a second component. And the third is one-on-one. You take your student to a quiet classroom and you kind of conduct all of these pieces, which is observing the eye appearance, physical and reflexive responses, which includes pupillary response, convergence, and blink response. And then you will assess the near and distance acuity. And then you will use different materials at different distances presented at different visual fields. And then you will also assess other visual behaviors like reactions to light, oculomotor functions, contrast sensitivity, perceptual characteristics, unusual visual behaviors, eye-hand coordination, use of visual fields, and color responses. I know that this seems a lot and overwhelming to you to start with, but trust me, you will, the more you do this, the better you get at it. So, and eventually legally we are, for every student's eligibility meeting, we are required to do a functional vision assessment. So during your school year, ultimately you'll at least have 3 or 4 students who have their eligibility meetings. So you will have to conduct a functional vision assessment. I would say at least 3 or 4 times a year for different students. So you will get better at it and you will understand the components of it. And then we are going to be focusing on additional disabilities, FVA for students with additional disabilities a few weeks later, but I just wanted to give you a little blurb of what you need to take into consideration if you have a student that you need to assess and the student has multiple disabilities. So basically you need to assess response to a variety of activities at different times in different environments and with different people. This is important even for a student with low vision, But for a student with multiple disabilities, this is extremely critical. You have to do this. Otherwise, you're not going to get a comprehensive picture of the student. And then you also have to understand the communicative abilities of the students. So maybe the student is using a augmentative communication device and you wouldn't know how to operate that device. Maybe you should have your speech language pathologists, SLPs, in your assessments to understand how the students are communicating intentionally or unintentionally. And then you should understand the medical concerns. So I have a student who seizes every time he sees a flashing light. So just make sure you don't want that to happen during your assessment. So understand if the student went through some surgeries recently, how does it affect the student with respect to their engagement in an assessment process. So understand the medical concerns and positioning. And again, you want to make sure the student is comfortable when you're assessing the students. For example, I have a student who as per his day's activities, he has to use the stander for 75 minutes a day. And that is his least favorite time of the day. He is in pain, and you don't want to be assessing the student's visual ability at that time. So just make sure you understand all this for students with multiple disabilities. And then you also have to know the best time of the day. If the student is more engaged in the morning, make sure you free up your schedule and assess the student at that time, and not in the afternoon when the student is all drained. And you want to make sure you assess the time at the best time of the day for the student and not necessarily for you, for your schedule. So I just wanted to give a quick overview on the assignments related to FVA. So we all know that at the end of this course, the final assignment is to conduct a functional vision assessment by yourself and write a report on your own. In order to do that, we kind of split the functional vision assessment into 3 major assignments before you conduct your own, kind of like the 3 major components. So the first one is due this Sunday, October 27th. So after you receive an I report, you are going to convert the medical information into a format that is understood by parents. So basically, you're going to write a letter, parent letter, without jargon. So remember the letter that you read last week, you don't want it to be like that. So, and you're setting the stage for conducting the FVA. So this is, so for this, you need to understand the medical information. So we have attached the I report and step-by-step instructions for this week's major assignment 1. In this week's resources, you go over that. A good way to test this is after you write the letter, share it with a family member or a friend who has no idea about the student, and ask him or her to share what he understood. Is it the same thing that you kind of interpreted from the I report? Then you know that you've conveyed whatever you need to convey in a perfectly understandable way. So that's a good way to check. That's major assignment 1. Then we have the major assignment 2, which is due November 10th. In this, you will be provided with the resources 2 weeks in advance to November 10th. So you will watch Dr. Conroy assessing a student in this week's for the major assignment 2, and all you need to do is collect the information you need to write a FVA report, basically. So you will be given a form. So for example, if Dr. Conroy is assessing the visual field preference for the student, you're going to see how the student is responding through the video and write it in a form and submit it. You will get instructions before that to do that. So basically, instead of you conducting the functional vision assessment, you're going to watch the video and then collect all the information you need from that video, from those videos, actually a collection of videos. And then you have the major assignment 3, which is due November 24th. In this, you will write the FVA report for the same student that you watched the video for. So based on the information you collected, you're going to write a functional vision report. Our hope is that with these 3 assignments, you're able to conduct your own functional vision assessment. We understand that some of you are not yet TVIs and you haven't started working as a TVI, so it's completely new. So we're just hoping the more you watch these videos of other people conducting the assessment, you'll be able to do your own relatively better. So I hope you enjoy this week's resources and assignments. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.